Ganvie. This is one of the places to visit in Benin Republic. Apart from the fact it's going to be the first floating village I will be visiting, I was so excited it's the biggest of its kind in Africa. Nicknamed the Venice of Africa, Ganvie is a lakeside town located on the Lake Nokwe, the north of Cotonou in Benin Republic. The other thing that spurred my curiosity to visit this place is to find about the daily lives of the inhabitants of this floating village. Advice to visitors: if you are traveling with a tour operator, then there is nothing to worry about. However, if you are on a budget traveling or you want to travel like a local, then you have nothing to worry about if you follow my advice. First and foremost, when you arrive at the Abomey-Calavi jetty, do not be in a hurry to board a boat. Many of the boat operators know lots of tourists come to this place and they would attempt to inflate the prices. A normal shared boat space would cost not more than 500 sefa, but the local boat operators might ask for as much as 100,000 sefa for a private boat rent to tour this village. Do not fall for this scam. Secondly, when you arrive Ganvie, you will have to find another boat to negotiate for a local tour in the village. For me, I have never paid anything more than 1,000 sefa for a local tour since I visited alone the first time, and the second time when I came with someone. Mention the places you would want to visit beforehand to the tour operator or to the boat operators before you leave, as some of them may change their mind and may not want to do what you want. And of course, make sure you can speak some French. Also, you may want to buy a few things you might need when coming to this place, things like water, beverage, etc. If you intend to spend more than a day in the floating town, some certain things as expected will be very expensive buying them from the hotel. You can buy from the floating market in any case. The Ganvie people are originally of the Tofino tribe and they arrived this settlement around 1717. According to the locals, their ancestors had to abandon their terrestrial abode in order to escape the intertribal wars that was prevalent at the time. The other narrative I read before I visited suggested that these people were fleeing from farm warriors who are from the Abomey dynasty, who would kidnap and sell them to Portuguese slave traders. The Tofinos initially fled to the coastal town of Akasato before their king was forced to flee to the present-day Ganvie on the back of a crocodile. At this epoch, the inhabitants had to call the name of the place Megan, which translates to "we are safe." Outsiders, borrowing a leaf from these locals, had to call them Ganvie, which translates to safe people.
But I also heard that some people were running to avoid slavery. Was that part of it too?
Yes. It's
Okay.
part of it.
Hey.
And that tribal war
Yes.
was to find slavery
Okay.
by that time.
Okay.
La guerre est toujours derrière.
Okay.
La guerre est toujours derrière. Et
Okay.
donc comme ça, le roi avait ses paroles incantatoires là.
Okay.
Et un crocodile s'est monté sur l'eau.
Okay.
Donc à ce niveau-là, donc en venant à ce niveau-là, ils ont dit, mais gants, ça veut dire quoi? Nous sommes sauvés.
Megan. Ok.
Mais Ganvie, quand
Ok.
on dit Ganvie là, ça veut dire ceux qui sont sauvés.
Ok.
Ouais. Donc on appelle les Ganviens. Ganviens, ça veut dire que ceux qui sont sauvés.
C'est français ou bien.
C'est
Comment?
Ganviens, c'est le fond, notre langue même.
Ok. Fond.
Oui.
Today, with a population of over 40,000 inhabitants, Ganvie has evolved a lot than it was centuries ago. Today, schools, hospitals, mortuaries, churches and mosques are a few of the institutions that are established and are yet to come to this place. Over 40% of all inhabitants are fishermen, 20% are artisans, and another 20% are into buying and selling. The remaining 20 are students and those who take up white-collar jobs. One might wonder why the people would still want to live in this type of place, seeing there are no more wars or slave trade, coupled with the several dangers of living on water. Many of them still live here because of economic reasons, being that they are fishermen, and even if they decide to abandon their source of livelihood, there is nothing else they can do for survival in a typical poor African country.
60% sont des pêcheurs. Avant, je peux dire que 95% sont des pêcheurs. Parce qu'avant, il n'y avait pas à l'école. Nos parents font tous la pêche. Il n'y avait pas à l'école avant.
Ok,
donc,
je vois.
Après la colonisation des Blancs, l'école est arrivée. Donc jusqu'à présent, je peux dire la plupart de ceux de Ganvie, et je peux dire 40%. 40%
ok.
sont des pêcheurs. 40% sont des pêcheurs. Et bon, je peux dire les 20% sont des commerçants.
20% c'est commerçants, ok. Comme les gens ici, non? Ok.
Et 30% aussi sont des élèves qui ont pris part l'école en devenant riches ou pour travailler dans le gouvernement.
Ok, travailler.
Donc, qui ont passé par l'école, il y a aussi des gens qui sont des artistes, des artisans.
Ok, oh, je vois.
Des artisans.
Yeah.
C'est pourquoi elle dit 40% sont des pêcheurs et 20% sont des commerçants. 40% restants là regroupons ceux qui ont pris par l'école en devenant des artisans. Et ceux qui, bon, le reste, c'est aussi qui travaillent dans le gouvernement.
The government has provided schools, hospitals, and several other basic amenities for the people. There are also plans to bring in electricity to this community. Importantly, there is a very ambitious project which is known as Reinvent Ganvie. With this project, the government intends to reinvent tourism and improve the living standards of this floating town. This project will see over 40 billion sefa invested in Ganvie and Lake Nokwe. Secondly, 50,000 people would see an uplift in their living standards. 2,500 new homes with electricity, craft centers, youth clubs, floating markets are to be constructed in this floating village. Thirdly, roads, beaconing, dredging, and cross structures will be created on this lake to increase accessibility to the Ganvie. 4. The introduction of cultural practices like Akaya to protect and preserve the Lake Nokwe.
Bon travail! Bon, ce sera qu'on appelle la kaja, ce sera que les poissons restent dedans. Les poissons dedans, si les poissons est beaucoup, on fait le furet comme ça pour attraper les poissons, c'est comme ça.
Aussi en train de nous montrer comment nous allons exploiter nos akayas. Comment nous allons exploiter. Et ça pollue.
With this, the living standards of the people will get better and Ganvie will generate a lot more from tourism. The government also works with some NGOs to provide boats to school children whose busy parents might not be able to take them to school in the boats. They have also incorporated lunch at school to save these students the stress of going home to eat during break time. Now let me talk about my trip. From the Abomekalavi jetty, take a boat going to Ganvie. Most of the times, if you are coming without a guide, the boat will stop you at a hotel. Sleeping is a choice, but I intentionally wanted to sleep here because I wanted to know how it feels to live there. You can do your tour and go back the same day if you wish.
If my phone falls out from here, it's gonna be terrible. So that's underneath the.
I started my tours on this village by visiting the art shop. Early the next morning, I was woken by a stench coming from behind my room and loud shouts of women advertising their food and merchandise to the villagers. My hotel happened to be situated at the front of the local floating market. As early as 4:30 a.m. in the morning, women were already selling their wares. Why would they sell so early? I was told that they do so because of the fishermen who go fishing early in the morning. Being that majority of the villagers are fishermen, they leave their houses very early to go fishing. On their way that early, they would buy their breakfast from these women since it will not be convenient for them to return to the village while they start fishing. I tried this morning food out of curiosity.
Yeah, this food is complicated, man. I don't know what it tastes like.
Two young boat operators came up to me at my hotel and requested to take me on a tour. We agreed for 1,000 sefa and we went on a ride to see this village. During the tour, we even had to visit their homes to see their parents. We saw churches, we even saw mosques that was constructed by Gaddafi and several other places of interest. On getting back to my hotel, they entertained me with some of the local songs and we even danced to some of them. I paid them off and they left. Have you visited Ganvie? Have you visited or lived in a floating village? Let me know on the comments and be sure to share and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content like this.